Okay, today we're going to read Henry's Awful Mistake. I'm going to try it in a different format outside. Can you see my hair blowing? It's a little breezy. Henry's Awful Mistake. This used to be Whitney Fike's book by Robert Quackenbush. Now you see Henry, he's going to cook. The day Henry the Duck asked his friend Clara over for supper, he found an ant in the kitchen. Oh no, there was an ant. Henry was worried that Clara would see the ant. She might think his house was not clean. The ant had to go. Henry reached for a can of ant spray, but he didn't want to spray near the food he was cooking, so he chased the ant with a frying pan. See that? Henry ran around the kitchen chasing after the ant, but the ant got away and hid behind the stove. What do you think he's going to do? Henry took the food he was cooking off the stove. Then he shut off the flame and pulled the stove away from the wall. He saw the ant. He's better than Grandma, because Grandma always forgets to shut the stove off. The ant saw Henry and ran into a small crack in the wall. Henry went and got a hammer. Henry pounded a big hole in the wall. Oh, where the crack was, and he couldn't find the ant, so he kept pounding. Oh no, the hole got bigger and bigger. At last, Henry saw the ant sitting on a pipe inside the wall. So Henry aimed the hammer at the ant and missed. The blow of the hammer, it broke the pipe. And what do you think happened? Oh no. Water came shooting out of the pipe and he couldn't stop it. This sounds like a grandpa story. Henry grabbed a towel. He tied it around the pipe and the water stopped shooting out. But Henry hadn't stopped the water soon enough. It had sprayed all over the kitchen. Oh my goodness, everything was soaking wet except for Clara's supper, thank goodness. Henry began mopping up the puddles. All at once, he slipped and banged against the table. Everything came crashing down. Henry was covered with pots and pans and food. Oh no, the supper was ruined. There was nothing Henry could do but to call Clara and tell her not to come. Look at him. What a mess he made. While Henry was on the telephone, the towel came loose from the pipe. The water came shooting out and flooded the whole house. Henry was carried right out the front door by the flood. There he goes. There was no going back. Poor Henry's house was washed away by the flood. He saved what he could and moved into a new house. When Henry was settled in his new house, he again asked Clara over for supper. And just as he went to the door to let Clara in, he saw an ant. Oh no, what's he gonna do? And he looked the other way. So I guess he must have had supper with Clara that night because he didn't go crazy and kill the poor ant. So that's Henry's Awful Mistake by Robert Quackenbush. Have a nice day, guys.